G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and it's time to get started on some repotting of some junipers and Shimpaku junipers, this one in particular. Now, you would have seen this on my channel previously where I have rewired it and restyled it. Now, I'll put it on the side. Can you see how this apex is really far forward and there's not much depth here? So I just want to change, this is just changing the, I am going to repot this, but I'm just going to change the angle a little bit more like to about that, so that the tree sits more towards the center of the pot, rather than, you can see how far forward it is. Everything's really just a little bit too far forward now, so I want to bring it back a little bit this way. And I have noticed the soil was starting to get, when I was watering it, it's starting to get a bit more difficult to water at the top. It is in such a small container, so yeah, so it's just, you wouldn't even know, it's only so subtle, like trying to angle it, yeah, it's just coming back up a little bit like that. So you can see just slightly difference, but it could make a huge difference. And these are things you need to look for as well. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be a huge repotting session and you pot, anything like that. But I am just changing it on just subtly, just very subtle, almost going from that to that in the pot. So, and then we'll just readjust the branches and so on a bit easier. So I've already cut the wire at the base. Now I'm just going to try and be carefully get this tree out of the pot. It shouldn't have too much of a problem because there's no lip on this. It should just pull right out actually. Just give it another little. That's how I feel. To make sure the wires are coming. Where are they? Just pull those wires out. The tree's coming out anyway. So the other thing I did before I take it out is I started to clean the trunk. You're probably hard to see here, but there was a lot of moss on the trunk, so, and I wanted to clear it up so I can see what the roots look like. And I'll show you there's a little bit of a gap in these roots at the back here, so I want to see if I can work on wiring them down a bit and making them more flat so there's not much of a gap. Like, can you see my finger come through there? You can just see that gap there. I don't like that. I want to be able to press that right down, hopefully, and get them to grow more closer down to the base. So this should come out quite easily. So it's pretty much solid mass. There you go. Oh, there you go, look at that. Cool, not bad. So, as I said, so see how far forward we want to go, a bit more that way. So now it's just repotting, so it's still nice. There's only a few nice, new, healthy roots growing, so it's still early in spring, which is good. I do notice the top of the soil is a bit matted, so a bit too full. But this is pretty solid root base. It's a really healthy tree. I'm just going to comb it out slightly with my root hook. It will need a bit of a wash. I don't go nuts on these in terms of washing the roots out, but you can. But especially towards the top, you can do it. I would never do that to pines though, for example. Pines, you would never wash the roots. You want to keep some of the old soil every time. The junipers I tend to do a full, almost bare root, but not totally bare root, but you'll see what I mean. So I'm slowly going around the top of the surface and trying to comb all these out. It's pretty solid mess. It's actually really solid. Sometimes I like to just crunch with my fingers, try and loosen up that root ball, but you can see, very healthy tree, lots of nice roots. I just want to be able to clean all this out. So I don't find junipers have problems with fully taking all the soil off. I find they do alright with that, especially going in nice healthy soil afterwards. Nice healthy tree, but I won't do two things. So I already styled this tree and wired about a month ago, and now I can do the roots. I wouldn't do this in the same time, like I wouldn't do the roots and then do the roots and do the tree, the foliage as well. So the foliage is important for junipers because it's like their engine. You know, without the foliage, the roots won't grow. So I'm just getting into this. It's actually growing quite a lot. The roots might take me a bit longer than I thought. Repotting this because junipers I don't do every year. I do them maybe every 2 or 3 years, depending on the size of the pot they're in. But you can see in this case, I think this has probably been in 2 years in this pot. It's pretty full already. I think it's a nice sunny day and the birds are out, so much noise, but it's good. So let me just slowly pull these away. So it can loose now. It's quite matted actually, maybe. I'm not sure. It's grown a lot more than I thought it would grow. Now with junipers, I don't blindly go and just cut everything off like I do with the maples. This needs a bit more precision, I guess. You want to really comb these roots out as much as you can, wash the roots out, and then just cut the really long ones. Sometimes when I'm pulling this apart, they break in my hands, which is fine. You can't avoid that, but yeah, you want to actually be a bit more meticulous and cutting the proper roots. I just don't go slam right through it. I just never do that. So you can see that's starting to comb out quite well. You want to have a good inspection of the roots, make sure if there's any dead ones, let's get rid of them. Any matted, let's try and get rid of them. But yeah, anything dead you really want to remove because it's just taking up space. But they're coming out, it's all coming out. I'm going to give it a good shot of water, just to hose all this off, and then I can see the roots. You can see that's been, so that my old soil is pretty much all removed. So just think about it, I would have to clean all this out last time. So it's the same process in terms of pretty much getting all the old soil off and putting new soil. So it's just looking around, pretty nice. So pretty good, pretty healthy. And I've been able to grab a lot of it off with my fingers, so I will have to just now wash it. So bear with me, I'm going to go wash this. Give it a good rinse, especially at the top. It's out to be fine in there. Then we get a nice jet spray hose and clean all that out. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like and clear all this up, ready for the repotting and repositioning. Alright, so I have washed the roots out and you can see they're much cleaner. You can see the colour they've got now. Now, whilst you're away, can you see a couple of little wires in there? Now, I've tried to wire those roots down and tie them to a stronger bit of root in the front. It is what it is for now. I can always cover up with a bit of moss if I wanted to show this tree, but it should help bring those roots down and make it look better in the pot. Now, I don't go nuts on the roots when I trim them, but I will reduce them quite a little bit. So I like to try and comb out as much as I can, even with my fingers, just comb it out, make sure they're not too tangled. It's a little bit tangled, but we can work through those. But you know, there's all these obvious ones we can just get rid of for now. There's no point having all these huge long ones. I don't go too nuts, so that should be enough for me. I like to keep enough root to not to give it too much stress. But this will probably leave it for now another couple of years to see how it goes. Now I do notice there's a couple of things that don't look nice. There's a bit of a root that goes upwards, a bit of a dead root. And I'm just going to go clean them up now. This one looks like it's a bit awkward. I just have a look around, make sure there's nothing too dead. Make sure it's all alive. I notice there's not as many roots at the back, see here? There's not as many fled out, it's more towards the front. So it kind of translates, where's the foliage, where the roots in a way. It's very interesting, but it's kind of makes sense, I guess. So let me see if I can, just want to make sure I'm happy with all the roots and how they are. As I said, I don't get rid of a huge amount. People can go harder, but I tend to be on the cautious side. And I'm going to get my pot ready. So I already put some soil in my pot, put a wire in my pot. This pot is lovely, it's perfect size. It's a bit dirty now, but I'll give it a clean once I've finished repotting. And now it's a matter of just trying to get the angle that I wanted. So I mound the soil, because I want it to come forward, go back a bit. I'm just going to have to make sure the soil mound really fits that thing. So maybe it has to be a bit more towards the front, the mound. So I don't want to go too far forward. I notice we can take a few more roots off, I think. Now I'm just going to look at it myself to get the angle right, because once it's done, it's kind of done. Now, as I said, you probably won't notice a humongous difference, but you will notice from side on, it looks very different. See, I think before it was like this, now it's come back like this. So I think I like something like that. Actually, I might put it a little bit more this way too. I don't want it to be sitting right in the middle. So it's somewhere around there. Now we'll need a bit of soil. Just to fill in this little bit of a gap in the back here. Remember, there wasn't as many roots in that back area. So let's see if we can tie this up. It's obviously important to tie this tree up, and so it doesn't move. But I want to get that angle right. So it's looking much better. I'll show you this side. See how this side, maybe you can't see with my fingers in the way. See how much more in line with the pot it is. Before it was like that. Okay, sorry I'm talking so much, but this is what you do, guys. Just look at it, talk to yourself. Is that the right angle? Is that the right position? Nothing wrong with talking to yourself when you're doing this. If you had someone else helping you, you can talk to them and check in with them. Is it the right angle? Is it the right position? It's nice. It goes kind of goes back now, like it flows away from you now. It flows away from you and then comes forward, so it's really good. I'm much happier, and it's a little bit, see how the angle, the tree's just offset on this side? I don't know if you can see that. Just, it's not directly in the middle, it's just a bit this side, so I'm happy with that too. Yeah, looking much better. I'm much happier with that angle. Just gonna try and get some soil in there. Now once you tie, as I said, once you tie it in, you're set, so you want to make sure you get this right. So let me just get all this soil in and worked in, and then I'll come back and show you the final product. Okay, and this is the finished product. It took me about 10 minutes to get the soil right in, so it took me a while to really get the soil nice and in and close. Then I gave it a nice water, and I've cleaned the pot, and you can see what it looks like now pretty much. I had to adjust the angles of it a little bit of the branches that are wide, not too much, but you see now, if you look at earlier, the tree was probably that much. Now it's just subtle enough to be back, the apex is back within the soil line. Do you see that? Not directly in the middle, but a little bit forward, but still within the kind of the pot width. Before it was outside of the pot width. So I think it's so subtle, but makes a huge difference. And you can see now it's a little bit more this way, even though the trunk comes a bit back this way, it's fine. We'll just get it to go this way eventually a bit more, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Subtle repot, but you can see the tree had a lot of roots and needed to be repotted also for the soil getting a bit clogged, but now you can see the nice open mix it's in. Very open, very healthy. There you go. Alright guys, I've got a few more of these to do, and I'll post up those videos as well. I've got a couple more angle changes that I want to do on little Shimpakus as well. So I'll do them, and I'll post them back in the coming days. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. See you next time. Bye.